I'm here.
Well, everybody, I don't even think there's anybody here yet. They usually wait till the show goes live. But welcome in everybody who is lurking in the background right now. And Andrew's paranormal vlog, no matter what the title says, I
Yeah.
did a silly thing. I decided that I've opened up a new business called Mystical Moonlight Walks or something like that. It's called. Still getting
Yeah.
used to that as well. Welcome in, Fred. So I did a silly thing and I changed my name from Drew's Paranormal Vlog, not realising that you could only change it twice. I tried to
Oh,
put the hashtag Scotland on it and I realised you can't change it. So it's going back to Drew's Paranormal Vlog. So it is.
I like the
So welcome in.
abandoned word in there. That makes it a little more spooky. The
Yeah, I
abandoned
did put the abandon
paranormal.
in it as well. Then I ended up taking it back out because people were getting confused. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Yeah.
share out quickly while we let everybody get in. My dog is barking. I do apologise.
Oh, so
She's
cute.
terrible. She likes to say hello. I just tell people she
Of
likes to pop
course.
in and say hello.
Well, that's what I
It's-
say. Animals are people too. They want to come in,
oh,
they have stuff to say.
I've got an understanding with Sparkle, I do believe. Welcome in, Kerry, sis. I think that we communicate together. When she really wants something, she'll stand at the bottom of the stairs and shout. That's her barking. Because
Yeah.
everybody else does it. So I say, well, whenever you want something, you go to the bottom of the stairs and you shout up. So the dog's kind of doing that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
if she's really desperate, she comes right up into the room or wherever you are to find you and drag you down. So she's just doing what we do. She's human.
She's
Welcome
just a
in,
person
Christy. Welcome in,
too.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Just a
going to
little
let
bit
these
different
all get
weird.
in. Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely got a sense. I mean, a lot of people think that a cat is your familiar, but I think Sparkle's my familiar because she just seems to know things that not a lot of people pick up on.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's got one of those sixth senses.
My dog passed a couple weeks ago, but I
Yeah.
have the two cats that are still here. And right before I came on here, I heard one of my cats hissing at the dog because that's what he used to do. He used to always hiss at the dog, my cat. And I only hear that when we had the dog here. So I think my cat sees the dog little spirit here.
Caesar.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. Will you share out for me, please, ladies? We'll try and get the other girlies in. And boys, of course, as well.
Yeah, boys are welcome.
Welcome in, yep, of course. Get the brothers and uncles and aunts in as well. Get anybody in that wants to come. That's what I say.
Exactly. Any passerbys,
Okay, so that's
anybody.
yeah, come on in. Let's take a seat and let's have a cup of tea. Welcome in, Diane. I'll just get started, guys, because you're all coming anyway. So tonight we do have the privilege of talking to Audrey. You guys, a lot of you maybe recognise her, especially when this does rerun on YouTube, when the tags get into the algorithm and things. So Audrey has got a show, it's called The Salty Psychic. I've knew Audrey for many years on YouTube, like maybe a lot of you have. So she's one of those characters that has had a channel talking about crime and the bad side of crime as well, I would say, where the spirit of the deceased person, the victim, usually doesn't get their say. A lot of the time, Audrey can pick up on that. And she'll probably tell you a bit about that, guys, once she starts telling her story. But also, she started her new channel, which is really just a down-to-earth channel that a lot of us ladies especially go through at our time of life. She kind of, welcome in, Sister Sherry. She kind of tells us how real life is. So I would advise you all to check out both channels. So not just the one channel, the both channels. In the description, there is the links, and I'll make sure that they are working once we go off so that you can go straight to our channel. So tonight, Audrey, I want you to maybe tell the guys a bit about yourself because I think you're amazing. I think you're one of those people that is down to earth. And if anybody can explain being psychic, I think you could to people. So just tell us a bit
Yeah,
about
well, thanks for having me. This is exciting. I've known you for so long, and I don't do this very often to come on other people's channels. So thanks for having me. I love
love
it. I
you.
love
I
seeing
think you're
you.
amazing. I think your story and everything is
I think
amazing.
you're amazing, and your subscribers know that too.
Well,
Yeah, you're special,
oh,
which is why I'm going
thank
to come
you.
out and see you in Scotland. So,
Good.
yeah. So I'm 55, And I've been psychic my whole life. My earliest memories of being alive, in fact. So I'm actually writing a book about it just to document it more so that my family and friends could understand me a little bit better, and also just a therapy to talk about myself. Um, but it wasn't until I was around 40 that I came out of the closet, because, where I'm from, up in San Jose in California, it's not a thing to do. You
Right.
can't be psychic in San Jose. It's all high, um, software people, engineers, they all have their own thinking and stuff. So I'm not too widely accepted, in that world. But I had a friend who started working with me, and she was from New York, and she's like my lost soulmate, come to find out. It was a very strange situation how that happened all of a sudden, and she's Chinese. And it's like, whatever, our souls are all connected. We come from different places though. But
Yeah.
um channeling for Janet, that's her name. Her father came in. I mean, and the way this all was exposed for Janet and me, I was a little hesitant to tell her anything, but when I mentioned her dad a couple of times and things about him, she's like, we have to just talk, because everything you've said so far," she goes, "I don't know if I believe in this or not, but I need to know more of what he's saying to you, if he's
Mm.
saying anything." So, I mean, we talked and talked and talked. I wrote down pages and pages and pages of stuff. I was trying to memorize everything her dad was telling me. Her dad goes, "No, you need to write it down, because you're going to forget, because you forget everything." I'm like, "You're not wrong. I will forget. So I'll write it all down."
That'll be
And
interesting.
that's kind of how that all started at work, because she was so blown away. She started telling other people at work. I'm like, "Oh my God, you're telling people that I what I did?"
Forcing you
I
to come
was
out the
nervous.
closet.
Yeah. And everybody at work, 55 people, I would say 50 of them ended up getting readings from me. And their friends wanted a reading, and so on and so on. So that's really how I got started coming
Yeah.
out about it. Every reading is different. No reading is
Yeah.
ever the same. And the thing I love is every time I have a reading, I learn something new. Even if it's a spirit I've channeled 25 times before, they're always educating me. And that's one
Yeah.
thing I love, because
Yeah.
I want to know, I want to understand more about these
Yeah.
realms and the physical versus energy and all these different things. And I'm getting chills right now. Let's see who this is. Um, Spirits
You
love
never
to
know
start
who'll pop
coming
in,
in.
guys.
Yeah, when spirits know I'm talking about spirits, they love to come in. They're like, "Me first." No, no, I was here already. I've known her longer. They fight.
My turn. You went first last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So I look at doing readings from a perspective of helping people. I don't ever give any bad information. If there's some information that's not particularly happy, you kind of have to set it up and with information before the not so happy information.
Yeah.
You got to do it in such a way that it's not going to scare somebody. I don't say scary things.
Yeah.
Everything's positive. That's the thing. So many people are afraid that I'm going to tell them something bad about themselves, or I'm going to discover their secrets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The, the, the thing with me, I don't care what you did. I don't care about your bad past and stuff. That's not for me to judge. And a lot of
Yeah.
times our loved ones want to come through and show me, "Hey, he did this and that, but tell him I still love him, and
Yeah.
I'm proud of him despite his past, and he can keep going," or whatever. So that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I love when people freak out when I give them information that, how would I know? It's the best feeling in the world. It's better than winning
Like
the
your little
lottery, I have
eyelash
to say.
man. Your little eyelash man, he doesn't know how to
Yeah, my
take you yet,
eyelash
doesn't he
guy.
not?
Yeah, my eyelash guy's not quite open yet, but I think he'll come
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
That's
don't
all we
really.
can do.
Yeah, I can't force it on him. I can't force it on anybody, even though people know that I do this. Even my sister in Arizona, she's afraid. She's one of these people who's afraid to
Right.
talk to me about spirits. One time I have these photos. I have these
Oh, come
amazing
on,
photos of
Kelly.
my youngest son waving at some spirits inside an airplane, and you
Oh,
can
come on,
see the
Scott.
ghosts in the airplane.
Right?
And
Wow.
yeah, you can see them. And so it looks like my son inside the airplane. So anyway, so I sent my sister this picture. I go, "Oh, look at Johnny. He was in this airplane at the airplane museum." She goes, "Oh, look at him. How cute he is." I'm like, "I know. I knew you saw him. You can see that ghost." I said, "That is not Johnny.
Uh-huh.
That is a ghost." And she's like,
Oh,
"Oh my God, I hate
wow.
when you trick me like that." Like
Well done.
so
Make sure
yeah.
she's
So yeah. So that's my life. I just want to help, and
yeah.
I know
I
there's
think that's what
people that are
I think that people
desperate.
yeah, I think people forget as well that sometimes spirits have got something left that they just want to say, and maybe like they've not said it yet, and that could be the difference between them crossing over. I mean, I'm finding more and more cemeteries that I go to, and the more that I'm being open to the chills and things, knowing spirits around, that I think that the more that I get to know their feelings and what they're going through and things, the more you can realise that sometimes they just want to have that one last human interaction before they finally just go. It's that I just
Yeah,
want to help
yeah,
spirit and talk to them and make sure they're okay, make sure there's not nothing I can do to help them. Also, I would like, if you don't mind talking about it, that is about how you interacted with Diana,
Diana,
Princess
that's a
Diana.
story. This is an insane
Yeah.
story. It's insane. I wouldn't believe it if I haven't experienced it myself. So, I've always felt a connection to the UK. I wasn't obsessed with it. I was never like, "Oh god, I have to get there before I die," kind of thing, but I always just knew that was me kind of thing over there. I didn't understand it at the time. So, I always knew who the royal family was and blah, 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 and all that, and, when Diana died, I was outside. I remember this. I lived on the coast. I was outside
Welcome
with
on to
Benjamin,
Diana.
my 27-year-old. I was just holding Benjamin, and Sarah, my daughter, was in the house, and the TV happened to be on, and the front doors were open and stuff. And I was talking to a neighbor, and I heard the announcement of Diana being in a car accident. So
Mhm.
I, went in the house, and I was just like, "Oh my God, this can't happen." So, she ends up dying. But it was either later that night or the next day Diana came to me, and I was in the closet, like, nobody knew that I had these
Yeah.
abilities, um, but I knew I had these abilities already, even though I didn't tell anybody because I've had dead relatives come and talk to me,
Yeah.
so Diana came in, she goes, "Hi," basically, "Hi, I know you can hear me, I know you do this, you're not crazy. This is me." She was very comforting, very reassuring that I haven't lost my mind. I'm not in a nut hospital or anything like that.
You need to run to them for the straight jackets.
Exactly. So she started talking to me, and I didn't really understand. I don't think I even responded to her for a little while. I didn't even know how to respond. And, like, do I say it out
Yeah.
loud? Do I talk in my head? What's happening? But she was with me every single day up until, let's see, how old was I
Clever.
then? I was 29 when that happened, and I'm 55. So Diana's been with me every single day until about 6 months ago.
Right.
Um, but when back in, oh gosh, I don't even know what year it was, but I was walking every day at lunch at work, and Diana started taking that opportunity to that would be our daily talk, was the 1 hour I would leave school and go walk for however many miles that would be, every single day. Every single day, Diana would come in. She gave me a phone number, and I have to find that phone number. She
Yeah.
gave it to me like in small increments, like there's a 4 and a 5, and then 7 0, kind of like
Yeah.
slowly, because I was walking. She knew I wasn't going to remember the phone number by the time I got
So
back
you
to
took
my
it
desk.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it went in.
Yeah, so over time she gave me a phone number. She even would send
Wow.
British people to my school. I
Wow.
remember sitting there in the office, and this British truck shows up, and I'm like, "Janet, look!" And I hit Janet. She goes, "What the F?" And I'm like, "What's happening?" She goes, "Is that Diana?" I'm like, "Oh my God, probably."
Oh, wow.
And this guy comes out, this old British man comes out, and he comes in the office, and he sees all my British stuff on my desk, and I know she's okay. Now I'm getting spirit coming in. I know she sent him. She sends people to kind of comfort me and stuff. Diana told me about a nursery rhyme that she would sing to the boys. I don't remember it. I wrote it down. Um, and the man who came in that truck, he goes, "Do you know what the princess's favorite nursery rhyme for the boys was?" And Diana had just literally told me what it
Yeah.
was. And it was the strangest interaction. And then he said something about, "Oh, you probably love going up to what's that shopping center, North London? I forget what it's called. Milton Keynes."
Right.
He goes, "I bet you're the kind of girl that likes going up to Milton Keynes, aren't you?" And I'm like, "I do. Yeah." Like, this is
That's
tripping me out.
definitely a confirmation,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, Diana, though, she gave me so much information.
Welcome in,
She shows me
Chris.
she shows me faces. I still see a face of a man who she needs me to talk to. So, if I ever see him, I'll know that it's him. But
Yes, it is him.
He seems French to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I see the name Hervé, Herve, Hervé S, something like that. So, but she gives me all this information. She tells, and the thing I like about Diana is she's honest. She's
Right.
she knows she was a mess.
Right.
She knows she had mental illness. She knew she was dramatic
Right.
and did stuff and just made a mess of everything. She takes ownership for all of that stuff. And she's like, "But you know what?
Yeah.
I don't need to apologize for any of it. It's part of being on the earth. This is part of being in flesh. This is
And she was in this
the kind of
a
stuff that
scary
happens."
position. I mean, she was on the spotlight all the time. That must be really hard to deal with, you know.
A
I
lot of
wouldn't blame her
pressure.
for it. Yeah, a lot of pressure. Uh,
Yeah.
so I mean, I
And
think
then
as well, growing up with your gifts and things like that, and then talking to somebody like that, it must have brought it home pretty real to you. But at the time, like, wow, thrown in at the deep end or what, you know?
yeah, I mean, some of the stuff she would tell me, I'd have to go back to the office and Google it. So I would say it to my friend at work first. I said, "Before I start researching this, I need you to know here's what she said to me. I'm gonna look it up right
Right.
now because I don't know about this at all." Because Diana told me her mom, um, aborted a baby
Wow.
before her,
Right.
and I didn't know that, and come to find
Who
out,
would know that? Come on. Who would know that?
yeah, yeah, but
Exactly.
I did find some information on Diana's parents, and the dad wasn't very nice to the mom, and the dad only wanted a boy, so they thought Diana was gonna be born a boy, otherwise they would have terminated her,
Oh,
um, and this is what the father did when the mom got pregnant. This is back in the 60s, so
yeah.
there was no way to tell. And so Diana's mom would go based on, maybe a witch kind of person or someone who's
Yeah.
really intuitive about the babies in the belly. different ways of
Yeah.
telling if it's boy or girl. And
Yeah.
so the person told mom and dad that Diana was a boy. So they weren't happy when Diana was born.
She
They
turned
weren't
out a
happy
girl.
about that. So
Well, I'm glad she turned out a girl. Yeah, I see she's
yeah.
live, Uncle Danny. That's okay. Yeah, that must have been amazing, amazing and scary at the same time. Though, I mean, I could see why you would probably think you were going off your head. I mean, all of a sudden you're just coming to terms with your gifts, and then Diana, who's just died, has popped in. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, well, why are we here together? Why she kept saying we're sisters. We're sisters. She's always said, well, we're sisters. And I'm like, oh, well, I always wanted a big sister. You know, we're kind of close in
Yeah,
age, I guess. Um, but over the years, she'd go for a long time without giving me any new information. And then she would tell me something. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me this like 10 years ago? This would have helped me 10 years ago to know this. You know?
Hi, Gemma. Yeah, definitely.
When I ask her about Camilla, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the UK people.
No,
I'm sorry if you disagree with me, but I don't like Camilla. I still
no, I
don't.
don't think any of. I mean, we're in Scotland, so typically the Scottish don't really like the royal family
Okay.
anyway. But to
Okay.
me,
All
each
right.
to their own. You know, if you want to
Yeah,
put all your
exactly.
money to go see them and whatever else,
Yeah.
that's up to you. You know, they are
Yeah.
harmonica. They've been here hundreds of years. They're not going anywhere. Welcome
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
Wickshire project off the grid. Welcome in. You know.
Um,
So I want
yeah,
to
so
get away from Diana then just for a wee minute
mm,
though, just
yeah,
for a second. Growing up with nobody around you and knowing that you had these gifts, was that not pretty scary and very like as if you had nobody to talk to and very isolating?
it was very isolating, and from my earliest memory of being alive, I've always felt like an outcast. I've always felt like a weirdo, like I'm strange, like
Yeah,
I'm a problem, that nobody wanted me, because my parents were only teenagers when they had me.
right,
Um, and so the first memory I have though was when I was 5. I was in the hospital and for asthma, and I met a girl across the hall.
welcome
She would
in,
make me
Kayla.
little paper flowers out of tissue, and
Right,
spirit came to me as they are coming in right now too. Um, and told me she was gonna die.
right,
That this young girl, she was only I think 12, and I was about 5. Um, and I didn't understand why I was having these thoughts about this girl that
right,
she's not gonna live. She's gonna pass on. And,
yeah,
she did end up dying, and,
oh,
that was kind of the first secret I had, was that
right,
information. But then in addition to being psychic, I also knew stuff, like, how do I know
mm,
this? How do I know about that? Weird
an
things, very
understanding,
strange
yeah.
things.
Hmm.
Yeah, just random thing and people when I was in my 20s, I would share maybe some information with someone, and they're like, "You're just a gossip." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm not gossiping at all. It's true,"
Yeah,
and so I had to stop talking about things and
yeah, things like
situations and
that.
people. Yeah, so, but yeah,
No, I can see how
growing
that
up,
would affect you.
it was terrifying, and just a little background on my family. So my mom and dad are different religions. My dad was in a cult, my mom's Catholic. So the agreement between the two of them was not to discuss any religion with me or my brother or any other siblings that might come. So no one ever said the word God to me or universe or
Right,
anything. No Jesus, nothing.
right,
But I would talk to the universe every night at bed. Like,
right.
it was just me and my higher power,
Mhm.
uh, every night, and it's like, I was so angry, Drew. I was so angry that I felt abandoned on this
Right.
planet
Yeah.
with no one really. I mean, I had a
Yeah,
family,
nobody
but
to
it's
talk
like,
to. No, I
they're
know what you mean.
useless.
Nobody to talk to. Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
get
and
it.
so I've had a lot of anger towards the
Right.
universe always, because even now, I remember my pre-birth experience of coming to this life.
Right.
And it's been very confusing because, my parents had a little house built when I was 3, and so we'd go look at the house being built. And I remember thinking, I'm like, "But this isn't a castle. What is this place? Like, is this just the garage? What? I don't." But I was just so confused. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't right. This isn't the right place, and that
But
was
you've
always a
probably been a
thing.
princess or something before. You've probably a past life coming through, not real, not
Well,
knowing.
I'll tell you, Diana is here. She is giving me chills. She's telling me right now, just tell him, Audrey, just say it. Okay, I'll say it, you guys. This is insane. I'm gonna say it out to the world. I am the ab- I am the aborted baby of Diana's mother.
Oh, right. So that means that you were sisters, right? Okay.
Isn't that insane?
Mic drop.
Yeah. And that
Yeah,
makes sense to me because I always thought I was like a princess. And not that,
yeah,
I
that
always
makes
wore
sense.
I wore white gloves. Who wore white gloves in the 70s as a little,
Yeah.
little kid? I don't know. Sunglasses, handbags. It's always been who I am. And, not that I
Well,
have
you get
big things.
yes,
I
yeah,
live in a
that's
small
when you
house.
think about it. Yeah, you were meant to be British when you think about it, because you still now travel back and forward to the UK.
Yeah.
Well, that makes
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So that's
Oh,
really trippy to me. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to just say she's nuts. But
oh no,
this
that's
has
just
been
saying interesting, and yeah, yeah,
it's been years and years and years and years of her giving me little tidbits of information. And I think because if she had come out right and told me that day she died or said, "Hey, I'm your lost sister. You were supposed to be born over here and
yeah.
have this happen," I think I would have committed myself probably to the institution somewhere.
You probably went and put yourself in a white jacket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah,
had to do it
exactly.
that way so that you started to understand it and started to come to terms with it. Because if she told you outright, you'd have been like, right, okay, I'm signing myself into the local loony bin.
I
You
would
know.
I would not believe it. And
However,
the only reason I believe in the things I'm saying right now is because of all of the readings I've done for other people and being right, you
yeah.
know?
And you've
And
got to
and
believe in yourself. And these, yeah, you've got to believe in yourself.
but
I
that's
mean,
what
there's
makes me
so much
believe.
doubt. Yeah, no, you go, Audrey.
Yeah. So, if I never did these readings for other people, I wouldn't think I had the abilities that I have.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I needed to do and continue to do readings, to believe things that are coming in the future. Like, this is
yeah.
just my path. This is how I work. It's kind of an emotional roller coaster at times, but, um, I've learned to be patient for information and different things. But yeah, that's how it's been. It's a wild, wild ride.
Maybe if you had been born in the family, maybe Diana wouldn't have been born. Well, you could look at it like that as well, isn't it? It's
Well,
one of
I'll
those
tell you what
ones, but it
Diana
just
told
shows.
me. Yes, that's a good point, but here's what Diana told me the other day out of the blue. She said, because I think I was sitting here, I was looking at King Charles and Camilla on a quick video or something. She said, "That was supposed to be you." She told me.
Right.
She said, "Charles would have
Wow.
married you and not me because you would have been a few years older than me, and it wouldn't have been me. My parents would have forced you to marry him."
Yeah, well, true, because it was to do with the parents and things, wasn't it, in the background as well, that it get rushed through so quick and things, the marriage
Yeah.
to Diana. Because there was
So they would
supposed
have
to
thrown
be the
this other
scandal in the
child.
background. Yeah. Well, that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense, though, yeah. Because I know the parents were one of the high society across,
They
what do they
were,
call it?
yeah.
Across, I can't even say the name. Are across. I know the word I'm
Her
trying to say, you
well,
know.
her parents got married at Westminster Abbey in
Yeah,
London, her Diana's
yeah,
parents. So, yeah, they were high society,
Yeah,
people.
aristocrats. That's what I was trying to say.
I can never say that word. Aristocrats. I want to say cats.
Yeah,
Aristocrats. No, it's aristocrats.
yeah. So
Yeah.
wow, that's amazing, isn't it? So you would have been the one to marry him. Wow. I think you
And
got
you
a good
know what she
escape,
told
Audrey.
me, Diana, this same day, a couple days ago, she told me, she goes, if you can get to meet Charles and look him in the eyes in person, he's gonna know something. Like he's gonna know.
Right.
It's gonna somehow trigger him in some way
Right.
about something.
Yeah,
Something
with the spirits
is gonna
connecting.
be Yeah, something's gonna be communicated through me to him, and it may not have to do with me. Maybe it will do with Diana or something, but,
Yeah.
she keeps showing me, like, "You have to I'm like, "Where am I gonna how am I gonna make that happen?
How are you
I
going
don't
to
know,
do that?
what am I
Sneak out
supposed
his
to do?"
hospital or something? Is though? How are you going to do
And she
that?
goes, "Well, you know where his office is." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't know what time he's gonna get to the office, and what I'm
Yeah.
not gonna just stand there all
I can
day
see
every
you on the
day."
news, Audrey. Crazy woman from where are you from? A USA. It's right.
California. Yeah.
We'll come and advocate for you. She just wanted to look in his eyes.
But you know what? I've seen crazy things happen with spirit, and the universe has power. So I just tell Diana, fine, whatever you can make happen is fine. Whatever. Just as my husband would say, go for your life. Just yep, go ahead. Do it.
Yeah, I
So
know.
who
God.
knows? Who
See,
knows?
the thing is, I think, see, this is what I love about this journey as well, though I don't think we're supposed to know too much. I mean, I know I do
Exactly.
tarot readings and things, but I more do the readings. I tell people it's a life path reading. It's not a tarot reading as such, because it's your past, your present, your future. Anything that the
Exactly.
cards see that will arise at that moment, and then the overall outcome. But it's all subject to change. How you live your life, It's
It's
just
true.
that basically it's a message for your spirits coming through me to the cards to give you a bit of guidance in
That's
your
right.
life. Look, if you lead this way, you're going to end up like this. So if there was bad news in there, I think I would be like you and I would maybe do it, sugarcoat it a little bit. But I think it's more of a guidance, and I feel that
Yeah.
if a lot more psychic people and things were like you, like Sherry, like Rochelle, and like a lot of the people in the community that's here already, I think people would get to understand it a little bit better. Because the way you guys explain it is a lot better than the psychics of the past. It's just I think you
Yeah.
guys have got a better understanding these days of how to explain it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, it's very exciting for me because it gave me my life back because I had such a hard childhood and early adulthood and stuff. But I really feel like I got my life back and I got control of my
Yeah,
life when I started embracing my psychicness. Because now I have that support system from spirit and
yeah,
all other spirits and everything around me and stuff. So um I want to pass that on to people.
yeah,
And it's like when I go to a
definitely.
funeral, it's like, "Oh god, I want them to but I can't tell them about what I do, but, oh god, I wish they would understand their loved one's there, they're gonna visit, they're still
I
around them,
know.
they're gonna see them again. I just wanna help them cope a little bit,
Yeah,
but I unless they come to me, I can't really offer that information out to
I
people, but
think a lot of people are scared as well. As you said before, a lot of people are scared to approach psychics because
yeah.
they know that they're going to see a lot of the bad things that they've done as
Yeah, their
well.
past.
And that puts people off. It's like people will be like, oh no, I'm scared to go face these people because they know my past. But at the same time, if they know your past, they know your heart. So if you're a good
Yeah,
person, things, then they know that you're a good person and they're not going to hold your past against you. So just go see them, it'll
right.
be enlightening.
Yeah, but see what spirit gives me though, and this is the same with spirit. Spirit gives me the ability to first of all, I see their good first. I see their goodness first, but then
Yeah,
second is, "Oh, yes, you did this and that was not good, but I understand why." And that's only because you're a
yeah,
human being and this is what the situation was going on, not ideal. You were in a bad place. kind of thing. So there's a lot of compassion and
Yeah.
understanding, though, that I try and give people.
Yeah.
It's like, quit being so hard on yourselves. I've done so many stupid things.
I
I
think
really
this
have.
life, I think we're put on life to learn lessons, and a lot of the
Yeah.
time, the things that we go through, you maybe don't understand it at the time. Like maybe my drug use and things, I think that I was supposed to go through all of that so that when now that there's people coming to me daily, that I can help them.
Mhm,
I can
mhm.
help a lot of people because I've got the understanding of how quick your life can spiral out of control. And you don't
It
mean it to
really
do it.
can.
It's just one of those things that you get led down a path and you can't
Yeah,
get
one wrong
out of a
step.
lot of the
Yep.
time.
Mhm. Yeah, it's easy to get off track, I think,
Yeah. Yeah,
for
definitely.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I just love encouraging people to keep going, hang in there, and we go through seasons, and that's an important thing for people to understand. It's like, God, I'm so miserable right now. I understand that, but it's not permanent. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
we have different seasons of life, just like the high times and the good times, are not going to last forever. That we do have to go up and down, but those bad times are not going to last forever either.
I know.
Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes
And
we
it's all
just
a
don't have
lesson.
answers.
And it's
It
all a
is.
lesson, I think, to teach. And we don't know what the lesson is a lot of the times, but I
That's
think
true.
I think when we do these things, like I didn't wake up till I was 40 either. I just led a bit of a selfish life, I believe, until I was about 40. And then I realised just how much my family needed me to step up to the
Mm,
plate, essentially. And I think that is when my spirituality started to kind of creep in as well, because I never ever really I wanted to ghost hunt and speak to spirits. And I always knew there was something because I always spoke to the moon. I always sat when I was a young kid sitting in my bed at night and I always looked out the window, knowing there was more, if you like. But
yeah,
I think it wasn't until I was about 40-ish and I had my spiritual experience that I realised just how connected we really are to the energies of the earth, the energies of Mother Nature, the moon, the sun. It kind of put it
it's
all in
true.
place for me. And
Yeah,
then I realised that all the alcohol, the drug use, the just running around wild from one party to another was all because I
hmm,
didn't fit in anywhere. I was trying to
that's
fit
right.
in to something
That's
that,
right.
you
Same.
know,
Same with
yeah,
me. Same with me. I'd go out. I lived near a Navy Air Force base. I'd go
yeah,
out every night of the week. I would go out and, drinking and partying and, just being obnoxious and loud and, just not a really not good person, honestly. But I was lost. I was so
yeah.
lost. And same around the same age for me, 40, because when I turned 40, my family didn't do anything for my birthday. I'm like, whatever. I'm not surprised, and I
Same.
have a lot of disorders. I have agoraphobia, which means I'm afraid to leave the house. I have so many of these ridiculous, awful things wrong with me. But when I turned 40, I said, "You know what? I'm going to England. I've never been out of the country. I'm going, and I'm going alone, and I can do this. And I don't care. I don't care about anybody I'm leaving behind. I mean, my kids, of course, I do, but um,
Yeah.
I
But you
got the
needed it.
strength from
Yeah.
spirit to just from Diana, actually. Diana's the one that really pushed me to
Yeah.
just go. Just go. Pack a
Good.
suitcase. They speak English. They speak English in the UK. Just
Yeah.
go. Get out. And that's what I did. And my life has never been the same since.
See, she
And
probably knew from her spirit, because she's in spirit, she probably knew that once you got on this land, that a lot of things in your spirituality would click into
oh
place. She
gosh.
knew that,
Well, what
No?
happened was I got to England by myself. I was a little scared, because I couldn't even go to the grocery store at this point by myself. My anxiety was so awful. But I did it. I made it to England, and I went to the British Museum and Natural History Museum, and I started seeing things. And it's like, why am I so familiar with these things that I'm looking at? And then I did a day trip by myself to Paris. Crazy.
Right.
I
You were living
survived. I don't
life.
know how.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to the Louvre. and I was really getting a lot of past life triggers. And this is not something I expected to
Right.
have happen. I didn't know this was something that would happen because I live in California. There's nothing old here. There's nothing,
Yeah.
you know. There's our country, our state is
Beer
only,
cans at the side
150
of the
years
road.
old.
That's
Yeah,
about the only
yeah.
old thing.
Yeah, I mean, this used to be Mexico, so there's not much history here in
Right.
California. So that blew me away. That when I got to England and Paris and France, that I was exposed to a lot of things in my past, and things started to make sense of why I've done what I've done in this life. And a
Right.
lot of my fears come from past life trauma, like,
Yeah.
um, wartime, wars, the wars
Yeah.
of the past where, women would get taken and, you know, bad things would happen and,
Yeah.
uh, people would get killed right in front of you and you have to hide and you can't talk to anybody, just all these anxieties
Yeah.
I've had, started to make sense after being exposed to some of this past life stuff. So, and it doesn't stop. I mean, when I go to London next month, it continues. There is a guy at the St. Paul's Cathedral. He's dead.
Yeah, you
But
made
he
it
talks to
mystical.
me.
Welcome in.
He talks to me. His name is Sir Richard so and so. And I was with my son. I was with Benjamin one time. We were at the St. Paul's Cathedral, and I kept hearing this guy in my head. He goes, "I'm over here. I'm over here." And I'm like, "Benjamin, there's somebody calling me. I don't know what to do." And it was under construction at the time. Like everything else in England is always under construction. Um,
Everything
so
getting propped up.
some of these statues had like sheets on them because they didn't want them to get dusty. So I'm like lifting up these sheets, these blankets, looking for this guy who's talking to me, and he's like, "Yes, this is me." He goes, "I'm appalled. They have put me in this corner. I'm in this corner of the church and I'm covered. This is not acceptable." He goes, "You need to go tell them to uncover me and put me back." And I'm like,
Oh wow.
"Oh my lord.
Oh
Wow." But
God. He's probably
I
some
do
big
like to go.
French important
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
I didn't like
exactly.
covered.
So, and
Wow.
when I travel, I always have paranormal experiences, and I have to say more so in France than in England. But oh gosh,
Right.
these stories, and my daughter's experienced them with me, some of these paranormal things, and they're just amazing. It's just
Oh, I
wow.
love paranormal. I really do,
Yeah,
honestly.
me too. Me too. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wait,
yeah, some
you've got us on the big TV, Mystical. Okay. She's got us on the big TV.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So yes,
I
I
think
do
that you
love
would have fitted in probably more in England and England as well, because I think you come into Scotland and England a lot. I think that probably
yeah,
helps you with your mental health and things, you know?
it does. It does. That's
Yeah.
why Chase, my husband, he said, "You just go. You and Benjamin, my son, my 27-year-old." He goes, "I'll stay home with Jonathan, my disabled son." He goes, "You need to go because I need for my mental health. I need to go over. I
Yeah.
need to go over
Right.
there." And it just kind of grounds me. It's like, "Oh, sure, Audrey, you just want another trip to London to try and be fancy." It's like, no, I don't care if it was out in the middle of a jungle was my happy place. I need to go where my soul needs for me to go to kind of
Yeah.
rejuvenate my mind.
See, I think
So
that's where we're quite alike, because when I hate going anywhere myself, and it took a lot for me to go to Nottingham. I won a competition to see Haunted Finders, and I had never really been anywhere myself before, and I was like, I can't do it, I can't do it. But then
it's
something just,
scary.
this is when I just started to find my spiritual path. I think I'd had my experience at that point, but I just found the strength from within to book the tickets, to pack my stuff and go. And I don't even know where I found the strength from really, but I just did it. And it was the best thing I ever done. I didn't look back after that either. And then from then on, when I came back, I just knew I wanted to ghost hunt all the time. So I think
Yeah.
when you find a little, when you've been struggling with things like your mental health, especially for so long, try to find where you fit in life, especially, and then you find that one little thing of happiness, and you just know that that's what's going to lead you out of the dark place you're in. I think we all have to
Yeah,
embrace that. And if more people turn to the spiritual side of their life, I think they would find it as well. Instead of trying to
I
find it in
know.
the latest iPhone or the latest television or
Right.
whatever, you know?
Right. Yeah, I totally, totally agree. And that's why on my channel, I get mad at women sometimes. It's like, you guys just have to be alone in your head for a little while. If you're one of
Yeah,
these people going from man to man to man kind of thing,
yeah.
ladies, that is not healthy for us.
No,
Find
no.
you and then, seek that relationship
Yeah,
later. But we have to find ourselves in our own head because that's where our strength is going to come from. That's where our courage is going to come from and our support is
yeah.
going to come from because, we are connected to the earth. We really are.
Oh,
And
yeah,
and
definitely.
a lot of people don't grasp that. And I know it can be hard to grasp depending on where you've been raised and stuff, but
Yeah,
it's a real thing. It's true. It works. I see it every day. Um yeah, I wish more people too could tune into that and just relax for a minute. Take a
yeah.
breath and think, what's logical? Is this logical or is this logical? You know,
And
does
listen to those voices in your head. I know they tell you not to listen to the voice in your head, but I try to explain to people, listen to the voice in your head. You'll know what voice to listen to because it'll be the voice that kind of argues with you when you want to do something you know is maybe not right, or you know that is maybe I don't know, you just know the voice, and that's your
you just know?
subconscious. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
See,
you
my mum
just
always told
know.
me to stop staring at people when I was younger, and I
Oh
do
my god.
believe it was because I knew what people were. I thought that I knew they were thinking, but even at a young age, I stared at people, and she would always say, "Andrea, stop staring at people, stop it."
I
But
do that too.
looking back, I was always, because in my head I was seeing like different things, and I was feeling different things from those people. It was like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Even as a kid, even try to look back to my kid mind, there was something attracting me to those people to stare
yeah.
at them. So
I know. My
society
husband's
tells
like,
you to stop
"Quit staring at those men." I'm like, "I don't even know I'm doing it." But that's what I do.
it.
I stare. I stare at men and women and
Yeah.
kids. I stare at everybody. It's like I have a staring problem. In fact, one person I would see every morning going to get my coffee at this cafe place, and I think he just got so tired of me staring at him. He came right up to me one day and he's like, "What's your problem?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Why do you have to stare at me?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't even know who you are, sir." But then I realized later, I'm like, "Oh my god, I probably do stare.
Yeah.
I do.
I
I
think
know I
it's
do."
because you're it could be something for a past life. It could be
Yeah.
something that they're going through right at that moment that you're picking up in their energy. I don't know, but I do it all the
Yeah.
time.
It is
And
it's
I find
something. It's
myself
about
doing it with the
something.
kids in the park. But when I first
Yeah.
moved up here and I first finding my path, and the kids were playing out in the swing park, I got to the stage where I was looking at the kids and I was getting to see kind of what their future was like. And I knew that if I sat there and I
Yeah.
tuned in much longer, I would start to see probably more and more and more. But it just got to a stage where I didn't want to be sitting focused in on people. And I felt as if I was maybe making, if like kids that I seen were maybe going to not do so well in life, I thought maybe I'm
Right,
portraying
right,
that
right.
onto them. I better stop. So I just
Yeah.
stopped doing it.
Some of my biggest joy I've ever gotten out of life was, and it's going to make me emotional probably, but being around small children because I worked at a university, but then I worked in lower education for 16 years. And those kids were my life. I had 500 students, and connecting with a
Wow.
kid is the most amazing thing my soul can ever get on this planet. And
Yeah.
you can see the future in them. You can experience their joy. I even had a kid who was a psychic, and he was only 5, and he was scaring the teachers. all the time. He
Oh,
would scare the teachers with everything he could tell. He knew everything. Um, but
wow.
kids still
See,
kind
I
of
think
have that
where
one
these
foot
Zach, I
on the
think
other
Zach's
side.
been here before. My grandson, I definitely think he's either been here before and he's remembering past
Yeah,
lives, or he's just so
yeah,
spiritually connected.
yeah,
Because there's little
yeah.
things Zach says when you're on walks, and I'm thinking, you shouldn't know that. Maybe not so much these days because
Exactly.
he's 9, but a couple of years ago, and I thought, you're deeper than we know, boy.
Yes. That's what we call an old soul, right? I mean, so
Yeah,
many people use the term over the ages, but there's really a truth behind it. There's a real definition of old soul is, yeah, they've lived here before. That's how they know, and that's why they look
yeah.
like old men when they're born, and they act like old people
Oh yeah, my
sometimes.
little
But
granddaughter, she's like a wee munchkin. So she's like all bent over. Well, not so
uh,
much now that she's nearly 6 months, but at one point she was bent over like that. And
uh,
I'm like, look, you look like wee Granny Nelly. That's my
yeah,
mama. We're thinking, old Granny Nelly, because she
uh,
looked like my mum just hunched over.
oh
Yeah, they're
gosh,
so cute at that age. Yeah,
yeah.
they really are.
And speaking of babies, it's been shown to me a lot of times, not every single time, but a lot of times our loved ones on the other side will hand pick our babies for us and send them over, down to earth
Yeah,
for you. Um and because that's a thing that hurts people a lot. Oh, my dad didn't get to meet my husband or my kids, but he did. He does every day. He's
yeah,
here. He's telling me he does. He's in, and so I can give them information about their dad that I wouldn't otherwise know. Um, then the
yeah,
message is dad's here. Dad does know. You know,
yeah,
dad
exactly. I
understands.
think if people realise that, yeah, Zach is an old soul, sis. Yeah, I think he is.
Also, people have a lot of guilt for not making it to their loved one's side before they die. That's a big thing.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah,
spirit knows. Yes, it's sad that you didn't get to be there,
yeah,
technically before they died, but they know why you didn't make it there. There's no animosity. Their feelings aren't hurt. If
yeah,
anything, they feel bad for you that you're carrying around this guilt, and you don't need to do that. Um
yeah,
so there's a lot
definitely.
of
We've talked to
goodness.
Eli. There's a guy we interviewed quite a lot. We've actually, I think we're going to our fourth interview with him, and he's had a near death experience, and he was telling us that when you pass over, even if he did come back, he died. I think it was actually in the middle of an operation or something,
Oh
or
god.
no, it was COVID time, and then he
Mm,
passed away. But when he was passed away, he could go visit his girlfriend and things, and he said that when she seen him, she thought she'd seen him, and when he came back, he says to her, you were wearing such and such, and you were sitting on such and such sofa, and things like
exactly.
that. So,
Exactly.
it just amazes me.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, that's what we need. This is why we need to be involved with spirit and the unseen world that we know exists, because this is where we're going to find a
Yeah,
lot of our comfort. We're going to find answers. We're going to find justifiable information that there is life after this life. And um, we need something to hang on to get through life on this planet. It's just hard. It's a
yeah,
hard thing
for
we do
sure.
here every day.
When
So
when
it's
Billy passed away, when I had my spiritual experience when my daughter's partners passed away, what it was Kerry had found them deceased. She had went up the road and she had found them deceased. And
mm,
when she moved in between me and my mum. And when that happened, I think that me and Billy always had a connection because he was my friend before he was my daughter's boyfriend, if you like. He
mm,
stood next door to my sister. So I think we and him had that connection. So when he died and Kerry was just so much in grief, I wanted answers. I was like, right,
exactly.
okay, what can I do with this now spiritual experience? I feel like and
Yeah.
Billy had just passed away, and I was like, I need to try and see if this is all real. And I was doing it for the sake of Zach. I was like, I need to have answers for this kid. I need to have answers for him. So that
Yeah.
kind of pushed me along for a little while,
Yeah.
wanting answers out the spirit box, wanting to know if it was all real on the other side, just so I could say to Zach,
Yeah.
your dad's right beside you, son. But that
Yeah.
was what pushed me on, I think, at the beginning of my journey.
We just want to know. We need to know. We need
Yeah.
to know because
Yeah.
the pain is too great to even take a breath in sometimes because we miss our loved one,
Yeah.
and that loved one may be an animal, not just a person. Um,
Oh,
but
yeah.
a lot of people are desperate to hear from their loved one, and that's the kind of relief I like to, if I can give that to somebody. It's like those guys in Kansas who just died from drug overdose. Um,
Yeah. And the
I
garden.
knew what they died of before the autopsies were done, and people are like, "No, those guys don't do drugs." You think they
Yeah.
don't do drugs, you know? The
I
fact is they did
know.
do
They're not,
drugs.
it's not something they're going to go
No.
tell their
Right.
family all the
And
time. They were at a
yeah.
football game, you know?
Yeah, ugh, but, one of the guys that died, he was kinda laughing at himself. He goes, "I know, we're so stupid," and he goes, "You know what? I'm just glad I'm happy now, and you know what? I'm carefree." He goes, "If you describe me to my friends and family, they would know you're talking to me. Here he comes right now. Here he comes." I think his name's Ricky. He died in that outside frozen thing.
Yeah, I know. I've actually
Yeah,
seen
that
that
was
on
awful.
YouTube. That's one of
But
those
he's
things, though, isn't it? They've probably just
yeah.
laid down
Yeah,
not thinking.
but he's fine. He's fine. A lot of times spirit will apologize for their dumb mistakes they made that ended up ending their
Will
lives.
convince me. Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
a lot of people want to come out of the closet as homosexual during their readings with me from the spirit
Right,
does. And the
right.
parent or whoever, they're like, "I thought so." They're like, "I you
Wow.
just I know you're talking to my son now because yes, I had suspicions."
Yeah. We didn't have the
Kind of
chance to do it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Getting the
It
chance to tell your
is.
mother or that you're,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, because
I
otherwise the
always think,
mom's like, "I'll never know. I'll never know if, was he gay? Was he not gay? Did that have something to do with his death?" Kind of thing. And sometimes, yeah, it does have to do with it. Sometimes it doesn't. But it's nice to be able to give people answers and just confirmation. And, a lot of times I get to tell the parents of their kid who died, like, it wasn't your fault. You didn't do
yeah,
anything wrong. Your child was his own person. You're not the babysitter, he was 25, 35 years old or whatever. That's not here's another thing. We have predestined time on the planet. We just
right.
don't know what it is per person.
Yeah, we're not
So,
told what it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
So whatever is planned for us has already been planned out. So, when a parent has a baby that is born ill, that soul knew it was gonna be born ill. It
yeah,
that child agreed to come down for this short period of time or whatever, but, now you have these grieving parents who are just hating themselves because they feel like they did something wrong
I
and caused
know.
the child to be ill and have cancer or whatever the illness is, but it's like, "No, that was their plan. That's
Yeah.
what God or the universe had planned for them." And
Well,
it
I was pregnant before I had Liam, and I always say if I had had that kid, I wouldn't have my son because I fell pregnant with Liam, and then I miscarried. I think it was the July, so I would never have had Liam if I had carried that pregnancy. And I think maybe I had to be that. Well, obviously, I had to be
yeah,
that way so that I got the son that I always wanted, you know. And it's
right.
little things like that. I think that people have to understand as well. That is all pre done, as you're saying. That's all pre planned. It's
It
got to be
is.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just don't know it till it happens. So,
yeah,
but we have to remember that. Like for example, if your partner loses his job or her job and it's like, "Oh god, this is going to be really hard the next couple months or whatever." Well, just know that that was pre-planned. You're going to get through that.
yeah,
When a door closes, another door is gonna open out of
yeah,
nowhere. And sometimes, like, for me, I was never gonna leave that school I worked at for 16 years. I was never gonna leave because I loved and needed those kids so much.
yeah.
But,
You were contented.
COVID happened, and it took COVID for me to leave the school because I
I
was
think
gonna
that
go
mucked up a
kicking
lot
and
of people,
screaming.
didn't it? Yeah, that changed a lot of people's plans in life.
Yeah, so that enabled me just, the universe had everything figured out for me. I was going to get paid on, I was getting paid on YouTube, and I started getting paid to stay home and take care of Johnny, my son. I didn't know that was available. And it's been the best thing yet, but,
Yeah. And I'm
yeah,
glad you're back. I'm glad you're back. I mean, when you left
yeah,
YouTube way back all those years ago, I kept looking on because we had been talking on Instagram a couple of times because I'd seen the picture of Shanann and things come
yeah,
through in
yeah,
your
yeah,
face.
yeah,
And
that's right.
but I also had asked you about the Delphi case. And I remember there was 2 pictures at the time that kept popping up on the internet. And I'd said to you, is it any of them? And I think you'd said one of them, and it's in my phone somewhere, but it turned out to be that other guy, and you were right all along. And I'm like, wow, my God.
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah.
also the other one as well. I was talking to you about, and then you disappeared, and I'm like, where did she
Oh,
go?
shoot.
And I just couldn't
I need
find
to
it
know.
anywhere on the internet. Yeah, you just disappeared. Yeah. And then you came
Well,
back, and I was
you know what that was about mostly. Mostly that was about me, 1, losing my job, 2, COVID, and 3, going through menopause.
yeah. Menopause is a big one, though, isn't it? I'm going through it just now. The hot
Yeah.
flushes and things is
Oh, yeah.
psychotic.
Yeah. It was a bad time, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's all been
But
taken
that's
care of.
what that's what the Audrey Christine channel's about, guys. It's about coping with things like that, and it's a good channel. I reckon all the ladies should, and the gents, if you want to get deeper into it as well,
Yeah.
definitely check that channel out. It maybe give you an understanding of what us ladies go through from day to day, because Audrey
Yeah.
tells it real.
I say it like it is. It's not always pretty, but,
Yeah, I think that's what we need, though.
yeah, I mean,
We need
it would be
refreshing
good for a
people.
man to watch some of my menopause videos, if his partner's going through menopause or whatever. It's awful. I got married in the middle of menopause, and my husband's like, "Well, this isn't who I thought you were." I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm like, well, I don't know who this new person is either. I don't know what's wrong with me. I didn't used to act like this.
I'll put the
So, but
links up right now, guys, but I'll put them in the chat. Yeah. Yeah.
you got to laugh at it because
I
otherwise,
think there was a few people though as well, because I remember seeing like tags and things, and the tags weren't working. Like on, like I think you disappeared off the internet altogether, didn't you?
yeah, I did.
Like
Yeah, I
that
kind
way
of went
back then, yeah.
offline,
But,
literally. Yeah,
but I think sometimes though, when you take a little break like that, I mean, I've done it loads of times as well. I think that you come back stronger and you know who you are better.
yeah,
You've got a
definitely.
little understanding. And COVID, let's
Yeah,
face it destroyed a lot of people's world because
it did.
it forced everybody to be together. A lot of people
Yeah,
are that used to their partners coming in and out to work and things,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it forced a lot of people to be together, and a lot of relationships failed through that
Yeah,
as well.
more than
So,
they should be together in a given day.
well, yeah. But she's
Yeah.
got 2 channels, guys, and I'll put them both up.
I do,
Let
yeah.
us
Thanks,
find them.
guys. Thanks for having me.
No, I love her. I love. Do you know something? A lot of the times I don't reach out to people because I think, why would they want to come and talk to you, Andrina? So I'm trying to push through that, and I've asked a lot of
Yeah.
people that I've always wanted to talk to come up.
Doesn't
So
hurt to
Audrey,
ask.
I'm
What do you
very
have to
grateful.
lose? Well, I'm grateful that you
Exactly.
asked me because, yeah. And you
Oh,
know what? When I come to Scotland, I want to do some paranormal stuff.
yeah. Well, definitely. Yeah, I can meet you in Edinburgh or something. We'll go up and
How
walk the
far is that from
Greyfriars.
where you're at, Drew? How far are you from
Well,
Edinburgh?
about 40 minutes or something. I can be from
40?
here,
Oh,
I
okay.
can be in Glasgow. I can be in Glasgow if I'm in a car in about 40 minutes.
Well, that's not bad.
Edinburgh, I think it's just over the hour, about an hour. So I can,
Oh,
and then
okay.
there's
Okay.
fast walking trains and things. So I can
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
be to
exactly.
Edinburgh,
Yeah,
not
that's
a
not bad
problem.
at all. Yeah.
The train, right? Okay,
Awesome.
this is the one that she's just opened, guys. This is the Audrey Christine one. I'll put this
Yeah,
one in
that's
the chat.
inside my house. I invite you guys to come in to hang out with me in my house, see how my fish are surviving, and see what I'm painting. And
It's one of those channels that we need. We love to see us ladies like to
we
be like
do.
late girly and
Yeah.
talk about different
Yes.
things. Do you like this new
Yeah.
picture that I bought? We
Right.
like
It's
all
that
that.
kind of
So
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
So
some
he's a
people say
lovely
can you
guy.
asked if I could talk about skincare and different things. So, yeah, it's just gonna be whatever you want, on that channel. Just put it in the comments what you want me to talk about. It's everything but crime on that channel. So,
Yeah.
everything's
And if you want the crime
acceptable.
stuff, guys, you're welcome to go check that out as well. I'll put that one in now. Audrey, the salty
Yeah.
psychic. And you will see her saltiness, guys. She has been very polite tonight and very bubbly and down to earth. But wait till you see her mad at some of these cases. You'll see
Oh,
her
man, I get
saltiness
upset.
come out.
I get very
I don't
salty on
blame
the
you, no,
murder
because
cases.
you most of the time you've got the victim standing there and you can feel their hurt and you know what I mean. So I don't blame you for getting salty, you know.
I get very emotional, especially because, when these murder victims come inside my body, it's personal and I'm
Yeah,
offended for them. I get all their emotions and their family's emotions all at one time. And yeah, it's
yeah.
upsetting, but that's what
Well,
drives me to remind everyone that we need maybe some laws changed and so these
right,
people
that's
get
the
harsher
second one up,
punishments and
guy.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think we forget that as well. That it's not only the victim that you're getting to channel, if you like, but it's all the hurt spirits around them, like their grandparents that's hurt that they're
Yes.
now over in that world with them. And you know, what I mean, I've
Yes.
never thought of it like that before, but that's true. And then they've got all the backing of the spirits that's with them that they feel is injustice as well because they've passed
Yeah.
away. You know, so you've got
Yeah.
all the team standing behind you saying, "Look, this is unjust." So yeah, I don't
Right.
blame you, you
Yeah.
know. But I
It's
think,
it's the energy can
especially
be
in America,
overwhelming. I'm tired afterwards after doing a salty psychic show. Just
yeah,
because I'm sure when you channel energy and stuff, it's just tiring on our physical bodies.
yeah,
Um,
I'm getting it
but
more and more with my readings. I was sitting
yeah,
there a
I bet.
couple of weeks ago, and it was actually one of the first times I'd ever had it so strong. And you could feel the people. There was a lady I was reading who actually went live
Yeah.
after it, and they came into the chat. But you could feel the spirit standing behind you. I was
Yeah.
getting chills right up and down my back. But
Yeah.
it's for
Yeah.
me, it's learning how now to kind of channel that and hear what they're saying,
Yeah.
not just through the cards, but what they're trying to say in my mind. See, I get nervous a lot of the time because when I first started to communicate with spirits, they took my breath. I think it was a way
Yes.
of them letting me know that I was there, that they were there. Was
Yeah.
they
It's
would kind of
real.
take
Yeah.
my breath away, and it was at the beginning of
Yeah.
a panic attack for me. So I kind of backed
Yeah.
off from it.
Yes.
So it's time to
I understand
learn
that.
that I'm not going to go
Yeah.
into a full panic attack. They're just letting you know they're there, Andrina. So I'm starting to get used to that energy.
Yeah, you do have
you
to get
know?
used to it because it's a weird sensation. And yeah, you might think you're having a panic attack or what's wrong with me? I don't feel good all of a sudden. Well, it's not you, it's the spirit's energy. But I'll tell
Yeah,
you um, what spirit gives me as psychic, how I receive quote unquote payment from spirit is they let me experience heaven or the other side. I don't see
right.
golden gates. I don't see, that kind of other side of heaven, but um, when spirit gets inside of me and I get to experience a glimpse of the other side and the peace that they're in, oh man, that's
Right.
probably if you could sell that, it would be people would spend
Divine.
millions of dollars trying to get that feeling. It's I think people
That
who do
gives you
drugs
the
probably try and find that
reassurance
euphoric
then.
feeling.
Yeah, that gives you the
Yeah.
reassurance that
Yeah.
what a lot of
Yeah.
people are searching for. I mean, I think
Mhm.
to know that there is an afterlife is a lot for people, especially
It is.
when their loved ones die. I mean, to know,
Yeah.
to truly know that you are going to see them again is a lot for
Yeah.
people. And I know that when my dad dies, I'm going to be a wreck
Yeah.
if I've survived before him, of course, because he'll probably
Yeah.
outlive us all, the old bugger. But I know that when my dad goes, I'm going to be a mess. I mean,
It's
I
gonna be
know I can feel
hard.
it
It is
coming.
gonna be hard.
Yeah,
That's the
but
thing, but see, then if you have people around you who
yeah,
will remind you, you know, don't forget, dad's passed, but he's here. He's happy. He's laughing. He's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's something I tell people a lot is their loved ones are like, oh my God, this is nothing. Like dying. Why do we make such a big deal out of it as human beings? They're like, it's nothing. Like you're going to laugh when you get over here too, kind of situation.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also as well, Billy was a troubled soul. When he was alive, he was a troubled soul. He didn't sleep. His mum told us that when he was a young kid, he never ever slept. When he was a baby, he didn't
Oh,
sleep. They used to have to take him out runs in the car, and he was
yeah.
always really troubled growing up as well. When he was a teenager, he turned to drugs. So I think
Mm,
knowing now that he's found his peace, because Billy's came through to me in the spirit box and things, and I do believe he's one of my spirit guides as well. And
mhm.
to truly know that he's found his peace on the other side's a lot for me, because I knew him for
Yeah.
so long before he was Billy's dad and Zach's dad and things. That's a
Yeah.
lot to know that he's now found his peace and he's happy on the other side and
Yeah.
things.
It's
And
important to know.
if
Yeah.
and,
And to
and
tell
if a
his
lot of
kids,
people,
child.
yeah, that's why I done it, was just so
Mhm.
I could reassure Zach, look, your dad's in a
Mhm.
better place,
Mhm.
And I didn't
Yeah.
want to lie to my grandkids, so I had to make sure.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I
But
appreciate you guys having me on your channel today. Maybe we can do it again
yeah, I was just going to
sometime
say that,
soon.
guys. We're just over an hour. Audrey is a busy lady.
I
She does
am.
amazing things, guys. She's got a
Ah,
disabled son who is sweet Johnny, and her
yeah.
other boys just came home as well. I say, is he home
Benjamin.
for a Benjamin? Yeah, is he home for
Yeah.
a trip or is he staying a while?
Oh, he's staying with me permanently.
Oh,
So, yeah.
well,
So I'm
good,
happy
good.
I
So
got
we
both
might be
my
seeing
boys.
him as well sometime. Maybe
You will
he'll
see
pop
him
up
on our
back up
London
one
trip
time
because
soon.
it's gonna be me and
Good.
him. So you'll definitely be seeing a lot of Benjamin. Benjamin is a special soul. He really is. Everywhere we go, people just fall in love with him. Even now, as a little
Yeah.
boy. I mean, once you start seeing him on the channel, you'll know he's special. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good man. I have to
I
say,
so
he's a
yeah,
man now.
watch back, guys. Definitely watch it. And hit those bloody well links for the channels because you're going to love our channel, guys, especially the
Thank
US
you.
lot. You'll love the crime side of it because there's a lot of crime goes on in America, I think.
There
And
is.
to
That
see it
never
from a
stops.
psychic point of view, yeah, I
Yeah.
know, I know, I know,
Interesting.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm not even
definitely
going to get
interesting.
into that because to me, I think if guns were banned, there wouldn't be half of the trouble. But I know a lot of the Americans like their guns, so I'm not going to
They
say
do.
anymore. But
They
guys, we're
do.
going to let Audrey go because she's a busy lady and it is still
Thank
afternoon where she
you.
is. So she's got things to do. So I'm going to end the live stream. So check out those links, guys. And remember, I'll be back when Tuesday for Mystical Love and Light show. We are going to be talking about dragons. So definitely check that out,
Ooh.
guys. We're going to get deeper into why the dragons' energies are around a lot of the time. So we'll talk about all that on
Mm.
Tuesday. So I'll let you all get back to your Saturday nights and Saturday afternoons. Blessings, everybody. I'll play the outro.
Bye.
Please can say
Thanks for having me.
goodbye to each other. No problem, Audrey. And you stay there, Audrey, and I'll speak to you on the
I
other
will.
side. We'll play this outro and let the guys say goodbye to each other. Bye bye, guys. Blessings.